Hey, Robert.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
So, guys, today, Robert and I are co hosting this show, and we're going to be talking about things that weren't taught in school that fell through the cracks that we wish we knew. And now, better late than never, we're going to get into some of those things and also hopefully encourage you guys to start to teach the people around you, the young people around you, so that they can have the head start. Because we got to remember, it wasn't taught in school when we were in school, and it still isn't now in many cases. So, what do you think, Robert?
That's true. A lot of things I wish we were taught, but
Mhm.
let's hope we, change the level of expectation of people so they
Yeah.
can teach their kids.
Yes. Yes. Um. So, where should we start? I've personally I there is so many things that I didn't know when I was getting started. I was lost on a lot of topics, and I don't know what it was. If it was that everybody thinks that you already know, or people think, oh, the people in my immediate household, my mom, my grandmother would have taught me these things and they didn't have to show me. But I definitely feel like my aunts, my uncles, and different family members we just don't talk about certain things. I don't know if it's our culture or our race that impacts it more, but I want to change that because there's no reason for anyone to be kind of lacking and not having the knowledge of just the basics that I think we should have. As we know better, I think that we should make sure to do better for ourselves and share the knowledge so that people don't have to be behind the curve. They can have a head start instead of going through all of the struggles that we've been through. So, thank you everyone who's rolling in to check out the show. Uh if you're on my side, we have You Learn with Robert, my co-host for the evening. Let me see. Let me check on the brands because I don't have our so I can have our names displayed. Let me jump back to the comments. Okay. I have everything referenced in the description so you can find his channel. Uh so yeah, Robert, don't let me monopolize this chat now. What do you
No.
We're gonna go. We have lots of things that we're gonna talk about, but we're just getting started with this intro. So, growing up, what was were there? Do you feel the same as I did? Do you think that there's knowledge that family members could have shared that they didn't? Things that they actually knew that they didn't share, or do you think that they just didn't know and didn't have much to share on the type of topics that we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, I think, for the most part, now we live in an information age. Things are there, but you have to dig it out. When we were a little younger, as I call seasoned, we were a
Mhm.
little younger and things of that nature. Our great grandparents didn't know, certain things. I don't know if you can relate to this and people in the chat, but my grandmother kept her money in her clutch. I'm not gonna say what a clutch is, but I don't know if you know what the clutch is, but she kept her money close to her. We're just gonna leave it that way. And if you wanted some money, she would turn around, peel off a couple of dollars, and give it to you. A lot of people didn't know in a can or under the mattress. So you're right. I think a lot of things just weren't taught because they didn't know.
Okay, okay. But, uh, that's way back when.
Yeah.
Uh, well, yeah, let's leave that in the past, and let's
Oh yeah.
just talk about what we could do going forward. Um, so and as we're going through these things, if you guys have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. We'll be going back and forth. Maybe as we go through each topic, we'll make sure to take a break and take a look at what people are sharing. uh, Thank you, Peachy, for sharing us out. Um, so, do you want to start with managing debt? Does that sound like a good place?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, I think with that topic, we need to, when you're getting started in life, you can't get into the car and the apartment and everything with spending every dime. And I think that's what people do. They get in, they see the prices, they find out what things cost, and they know how much they're earning, and then they get into it and they're overextending themselves from day one. They're not leaving themselves any buffer. And then when there's no saving, there's no investing, there's no emergency fund. It's just everything is spent.
That's true.
So definitely something I'm gonna try to. I only have one younger daughter. My other daughter is an adult already, but with my younger daughter, something I'm gonna try to instill in her that you can't look at it that way. I earned this and I can afford this. You gotta first cut that pie and make a mind have a mindset of what am I gonna where don't spend it all. What am I gonna save? What am I gonna invest? Now what can I afford as far as the wants and the needs, but you also need to pay yourself first. So that
True.
has to be a priority.
That's true. That's true. What do you think is a good percentage to pay yourself first? What do you do?
Well, as far as my retirement, I'm trying to have that up to uh 15% between my contribution, my employer contribution, what pensions I hope to get from my current employer and one previous employer. I want that portion to be around 15% plus for retirement. Then on top of that, I'm doing my own investing. I couldn't tell you percentage wise on that, but I'm trying to do as much as possible because I'm ready to retire yesterday.
I understand.
As far as from the day job, I have 2 jobs right now, and I have my own business. So, if I could cut the full-time job out of the mix, that would be helpful. And but, so I would say I'm trying to over 20% if we're gonna talk percentage-wise as far as retirement, additional investing for myself, having money aside for potential real estate options that I wanna to build upon, for my own personal business so that I can have a focus there on, those type of, streams of income for myself. How
Right.
about you?
Yeah, what I do up to the company match as far as me, because a lot of companies back in the days they would like have a cousin who their company matches up to 100% no matter what percentage. I think my company's like 8% or something of that nature. But I do up to the company match, and then from there I invest on my own as well. So I make sure I do that, but you don't want to leave any money on the table. But while we're talking about that, people, if you have not hit the like button on Lisa J's side or my side, come on, y'all. Go ahead and hit the like button. We're giving some value. Um,
Thank you.
but but yeah, as it relates to anything, welcome in everyone, by the way. But as it relates to anything, um, everyone here who has a job, 90% of you have a 401k. Now, we're not investment advisors or giving you investment advice, but 90% of y'all have a 401k, depending on where you work. Should be about 98, but we're not going to go there. But if you're not matched up to your company match, you should at least start there. Because I remember at one point that you know I was eating oodles and noodles, and the sauce package, I was using it for something else because I couldn't afford seasoning. So there's no excuse. You got to start somewhere. If the company's giving you money, take it. Take the money they're giving you.
Definitely, definitely. That is something I always encourage as a start is at least be contributing into your retirement, your employer retirement fund to get that match because that is free money. Um, there's more to it than that. But that is a start. Do that. Do your best to figure out some investments to pair with that because we want to maximize what you're doing and get that money from your employer. Definitely, definitely. So, are we ready to move on to our next topic or what? Are we still on managing debt?
I think managing debt. That's a great topic. What do y'all think in the audience? Managing debt, because a lot of times, I know me. When I got money, there were certain cars I wanted. So I don't know about you, Lisa J, but you
I'll
you
tell
see the
you.
cars pull up in the parking lot of school, and you like, I got to have this.
Uh-huh.
When I was in high school, it was the Acura. It was either the Acura, the Escalade, the what do they call that? Expedition. The Mustang. Everybody want that car. They want to look nice when they jump out the car. So that's a part of managing debt, I would say. What do you think?
Yes, definitely. I had a desire for, a BMW X5,
I
but
like
I don't have that because I decided I don't want to overextend myself. I don't want to pay for that oil change and the
yeah.
repairs and everything. I mean, I could have managed it, but I felt like, is this what I want? Do I want to put that much into a vehicle? So I found an SUV, a much more modest and model, better gas mileage, and I'm still driving it to today, I mean, prior to that, I was in a car accident and I had lost my vehicle, total. They wouldn't even look at it. On the
Wow.
phone, I'm talking to them on the phone, and they're like,
Wow.
"Yeah, miss, we don't need to see it. From what you're describing in the year of your vehicle, it's totaled." Okay. So I wound up going to an auction and buying a Ford Escape, a yellow Ford Escape at that. So I drove that Ford Escape for years, a long time, because it was running.
Oh yeah.
And people were making fun of me, calling me the ice cream truck lady and all kinds
Oh
of
wow.
stuff. And I kept on driving it. And I was able to save my money because I was driving that car and just, I only got rid of it once silly things started to happen, like the hinges on the back window were rusting. And I'm like, the running board fell off because that was rusted and the headlights weren't working. And I'm like, I can't put money in this. It served me well because, but now that I have to start fixing things like this, it's time to let it go.
That's
But
true.
even after that, that's when I went on to the vehicle that I have now. But I had a desire for that X5, but I didn't do it.
Well, I can say this. Unfortunately, I was on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
I saw the nice car. I wanted the nice car. I got the nice car. However, like you said, you go to a Mercedes dealership to get an oil change. They
Mhm.
smile. Hey, welcome, Mr. Robert. How you doing? Welcome. Sit down. And you feel good. They give you the water. You get the Avion water, nice waters and chips, and they let you get this. But then when you get the bill, you look at it like, what is this? Is it me that you're looking for? you, you're like, can I? No. So the oil change, you have to
Yeah.
keep all that stuff in
Yes,
mind.
yes.
For business purposes, that's why I utilize certain things, but that's a whole nother topic for another conversation.
Mhm.
But you have to, count up the cost.
So on this topic, in your opinion, how long should a person have if they have a car payment, they're unable to, which most people are not able to pay for the car in full. What do you think is a reasonable time frame for a car payment? Not even the dollar amount. Let's just first talk about the amount of years. I think it should be 2 to 3 years max. If you can't afford to pay off the car in that time frame, I think you're getting in overextending yourself. What do you think?
Oh yeah. When you sit down and do your budget, a lot of people's budget goes to car, then housing, and then
Mhm.
everything else. 3 years, 2 to 3 years max. But I was always taught if you can't pay it off twice, you don't need it. So I think you did a see. I had cars that was paid off, but I wanted to upgrade. So don't put all your money in a car because it's if you're not utilizing for business purposes, it's not worth it.
Okay, if it's not making you money, like if it's not a truck or something that's contributing to your business.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, taking a quick look at the chat, I see David is saying that he didn't really he until his car payment was out the way, he really couldn't focus on his investing.
Wow.
So, if you that's what I mean, like, if it's a hindrance to you, then it's gonna be holding you back from building wealth and moving forward. But, we all make our mistakes.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
There's definitely things that I'm sure in this conversation that I will be sharing tonight that I could have done differently. But, when you're young and maybe a little dumb, you do certain things, but we can't go back. We all wish we could go back. If I could take us all back to the day that Bitcoin went, was a dollar, I would. But
That's facts.
uh, so I think we already touched on our topic of allocating your income and managing the debt, building a budget. Let's talk about that. So
Perfect.
we're using that. We've already thrown that out a couple of times, but how do you budget? Do you have a spreadsheet? Can you share anything about how you personally budget?
Well, for me, you know, everyone's different as it relates to anything. I believe that you should give 10% to an organization or charity, church, whatever y'all believe. I'm not here to debate that, but I take that out first. Then I put a percentage to savings, a percentage to investing, and a percentage to long term. Like if something I want to do long term as relates to, like you said, long term goals, something that I want to move on business wise, I make sure that so pretty much about 40 to 50% automatically is taken away, and then the other stuff is just living expenses.
Mhm. So I mean, like on a lower level, do you ever like go through and put the electric and the car insurance, and how do you track all of that? And how do you stay on top of, or, visualizing, seeing where the fluctuations are, what's going up? Do I need to tighten up this? Do I need to drop a subscription? Do you ever evaluate it like that?
For me, like I would say, talking about subscriptions. When it comes down to it, I had this subscription, that subscription. So for the grand scheme of things, I'm always on the go. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. I'm always on the go. So I had to see what subscription was the most. So I kept two. I have
Mhm.
twin nieces and they watch Disney Plus. My sister, I said, look, I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. And I kept Amazon because I use Amazon Prime all the time. So
Oh,
other
yeah.
than those subscriptions, I canceled everything. For me, that works for me because
Mhm.
I knew that I was going to be in a position, where I was just, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, all these subscriptions that we have, 90% of the times we're not using it. So, hey, make this go viral. Hello, everyone. As it relates to how I do things, everyone's different. My grandmother operated in organized chaos, meaning she can have a stack of papers to the ceiling. You can mix up the papers and she can tell you which paper was where because I tried it one time. So for me, I know where everything fluctuates, so I just keep it steady as it relates
Okay.
to that.
Okay.
But everyone's different on that end.
So dropping those subscriptions, did that free up money that you then reallocated somewhere else, or it wasn't that, you know, it wasn't that detailed for you that, "Oh, okay, I freed up this, now I can put it here," or wasn't that kind of a thing?
When I would say when it was real tight, you know, yes, that was the case. However, um, and I'm saying this humbly, when everyone, budgets change, I work a lot. I'm always, I probably sleep less than 3 or 4 hours a night. So as it relates to that, because I'm always on the go doing
Mhm.
something, you know, it's not a necessity as far as for me, investing is a number one priority. So I don't have to do this, like you said, till I'm 60 or 50. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
So,
okay.
what about you? What do you do?
So, listen, no, I guess I'm kind of just regular old fashioned. I have my planner. Um, I have my happy planner and I list everything out and I'm working from there. I have a separate planner for my bills for my business, and then I have my own a separate planner for my personal, and I'm just trying to keep on top of it like that. And me personally, I am a credit card person. I pay as many bills as possible. If they will accept a credit card for payment without any, extra too much fees or anything attached to it,
Right.
I use my card to pay even my car insurance, my home Wi-Fi.
Right.
I use my credit card and I pay it off as soon as, it hits. But I'm able to rack up on rewards points,
That's what I
cash
was gonna say.
back. So I have certain things, it's just regular to the card. The things I can't, there's some of my bills that they don't accept cards, like my oil bill does not, my oil company does not. So that's just my way, but I'm always trying to uh maximize in any way, get my points from the gas or the groceries, or even if I have to change what I want my reward for the particular quarter or month to be, but
Right.
I'm always trying to make sure I'm getting some money there. But
Oh yeah, because
um
you're leaving money on the table. You're right.
yes, yes. So what do we want to go on to next, Robert? Do you want me to keep on with the flow of the topics, or what do
Hey,
you
I
think?
like how moving with the topic. I like how you moving. You're moving good. You're moving good. You're doing your thing.
All right. Is everybody looking forward to the Super Bowl tomorrow, or is nobody team and no, you're looking forward to it? Is one of your teams in it, or anyone you're interested? Not so much.
I want 49ers to win. I like McCaffrey and Steve Wilkes. I think they did Steve Wilkes wrong with the Panthers. I want San Francisco to win, but I think Pat Mahomes is going to win because they're trying to make him the next Tom Brady. But that's a whole nother subject.
Okay, yes, that is another subject, but I was just trying to take a little break, a little
Oh
breather
yeah, oh
there
yeah.
for a second.
What about you? What about
I
you?
have
You San
I
Francisco
have
fan?
I have nothing to say about any Super Bowl. I'll be watching Usher and, the halftime show and the commercials. That's probably about it.
The commercials are always fun.
And snacking on some chips and Diet Coke.
So, what was your
Um,
favorite? I'm sorry. What was your favorite Super Bowl commercial? Do you remember one?
Favorite Super Bowl commercial? I have no
Yeah.
idea. I have no idea. But, maybe we'll see how long we're chatting for. What happened with your camera there, Robert?
I don't know. I just looked and I said, okay. I went
Okay.
ghost. Hello, is it me that
Yeah.
you're looking for?
I have lots of topics for us to talk about, but yeah, I could have pulled up some information on how much these insane Super Bowl commercials cost. But oh gosh, we lost Robert altogether. Okay, I'll be on the lookout for him to come back. But yeah, looking forward to seeing Usher. Yes, Peachy. Um let's see. Let me take a look at the chat. Maybe I could catch up. Guys, I don't do this. So if I've been missing any questions, comments, please know I appreciate you all for being here, but uh I am nervous as always. Prez says that he does his tracking on paper also. Yeah, I'm old school with that. I do have my what do you call it? I don't even know what it's called right now because my brain is not working. My Google Sheets. I have my Google Sheets on my taskbar of my phone. So really, if I was on the ball, as I shopped, I would log everything there, but usually I have to go back and update that more manually and catch up and try to see like a whole month of activity. But I am around some people that are on top of their budget. As soon as they spend, they are right there logging everything. And, they kind of don't ever fall behind where I kind of do. I have to catch up with my budget sometimes. Um, So let me go down. Yeah. Robert, where are you? So, what do we want to talk about next? What story can I tell you guys? For me, I don't want to make excuses for myself, but keeping on the topic of debt and budgeting, the things that I'm encouraging, talking about here and encouraging you guys not to do or to try to teach the young people around you not to do, I definitely did it all, you know? Um, I was overextended in my apartment. My apartment was only $525 back in the day, but between the apartment, the car payment, paying, the utilities and all of that, and having to go to the laundromat, everything had a cost to it. And I definitely was in a place where I was spending every last dime that I was earning. Thankfully, oh, here we go. Thankfully, I've been working, not thankfully, in one way, thankfully, but in another way, not. I've been working full time since I've been 19 years old. So, with that, you know, human resources presented me with this 401k, and I have been contributing to it. But it was the wrong choice to make. If I could go back, I would have just lived with family members, sucked it up, did what I had to do, and pushed through focusing on my education. But I didn't. I started working full time. And then from then forward, throughout my 20s, um, working and had to be full time, and going to school was part time. And so that made it harder to get through college, along with I was already a mom at that time. So I know, like I say, when you know better, you do better. And I just want to share things that I've been through so that everyone doesn't have to go through it. If you can make some choices to focus on your education, focus on your investing as early as possible. But definitely, I would say don't put getting into working full time ahead of figuring out, even if it's not college, figuring out a skill,
Right.
something that you can build a career off of. I don't care what it is. If you're going to be a mechanic, a plumber, go to truck driving school, whatever it is, something probably more than high school that you can do to kind of build your career path. So I'm sorry I didn't see you there backstage. I hope I didn't have you sitting back there too long,
No,
but
you're fine. You're fine.
I did miss you, Robert. I totally did. I'm scared. I'm nervous. Give me a
Oh no,
minute.
you're good. You're good. You know what? My battery on my camera, I was utilizing my camera for something else, and I did not plug it up. And I was like,
Mhm,
"Why is this unplugged?" Oh, okay,
mhm.
duh. I took it today. So yeah, that's what happened. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay.
sorry, Lisa.
Um, so what do we want to talk about, Robert?
Yeah.
What is going on? What is going on? I think I'm already touching on our topic of the philosophy of money.
Oh yeah.
So, growing up, like getting started, like tell us a little bit about anything that hindered you, like with your money mindset. Did you even have a money mindset? At times, I think I didn't even have one because I wasn't thinking about, thankfully, like I said, my 401k, I was allowing them to take my percentage out of my check. Did I even know how to call up and look at the statement and evaluate it? And at that time, no, I didn't. But we're going to get into that too. But did you even have a money mindset of what we're talking about here? Pay yourself first, invest, don't overextend yourself with the housing, the car, the clothes, the shoes, whatever.
Yeah, I would say, you know, probably when I was in elementary, well, middle, um, it was more or less seeing my parents, do a lot of things. Like my grandmother sold life insurance. My mother sold life insurance. My father sold life insurance. So guess who sold life insurance? So I had no excuse. It was just more or less being hard headed. You see what I'm saying? When you see certain things, but you do the opposite, it's more or less trying to figure your way out. So you said you were on your own since you were 19. I was 18. Actually,
Mhm,
my 18th birthday, I moved. I was like, bye bye, I'm gone. So,
mhm, mhm,
since then, but I would say a lot of people, based on our topic, we're not taught this is why you get the job. This is what you need to do. You don't lay out the plan. We think, oh, I want to be like this rapper. I'm just saying, I want to be like this pop star. I want to be like this person with the shoes. I want to drive this. I want to go here. I want to do that. What we're seeing on social media, but we don't have a plan. I'm saying culturally, from what I've found out, because we're unfortunately looking at all the other entities that appease us, but they're not really showing us strategy.
mhm.
So, did I have a plan? No, my plan was to have fun every day and
So
enjoy life.
who were you living with? Did you have roommates? How were you managing at 18?
I had a roommate.
Okay.
Keyword had, but that's oh boy. When you are 18 and you move for the first time and you have other things going on, um, you have to be sure that you're on the same mindset.
Of who you're
Um,
staying with and their
yeah,
priorities, yeah.
right,
Mhm,
right. So, you know, um, you deal with somebody bringing company over and you're trying to sleep, or you got company over and they're trying to sleep, or them
mhm,
not washing the dishes, or
mhm. And eating up
eating
your
your
food.
food. Exactly. You're like, oh my, didn't I just buy this?
Did you have to put your name on your food over there, Robert?
Well, no, it didn't matter who had their name on it. It was going to be
Is
eaten because
it?
somebody else was at the house, and you're like, you don't even stay here. Why are you eating my food?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So, y-
Okay.
so yeah, I would say more or less, when it comes to that, and I'm sure most people can test in the chat. Chat, do me a favor. If you were told a plan before you moved out or went to college or had your first job, uh, press one in the chat. If you were not given a plan before you did that, press two in the chat. I'm trying to see what a heat is in the chat. So if you were not given a plan before you moved out, press one. If you were given a plan, press two. I'm going to press. Well, I can put 1.5. I was given a plan, I just didn't follow it.
Mhm, mhm.
So I see a lot of twos. Stock David, Perez the investor. So nobody was given a plan. I see two. Oh, one. Okay. So you was given a plan. That's what's up, Stock David. I say 1.5 because I was given a plan. I just didn't follow it. I didn't execute it. No plan. No plan. Okay. Okay. So no plan. All
Yeah.
right. So
You know, when I started working full time, I was actually working at the same company that my mother was working for.
wow.
So, yeah. So between me and my mother and one of my aunts, we gave that one company, ooh, I would say probably 60 years between the 3 of
Wow.
us. Yes.
Wow.
So, but it is what it is. Like I said, I can't go back, but I definitely try have my daughter on a different path. My daughter was working like at a frozen yogurt place when she was going to school. She had a few different jobs, but I was always like, okay, you work part-time, you work part-time. The focus is school, the focus is school. And she pushed through and did such a great job. When I told her when she started college, you don't have to take 5 classes a semester. I'm fine. You take 4, you take 1 in the summer, you can, do 9 in a year. I was trying to, she did the opposite. She was taking 6 and taking them in the summer too. So,
Right. Right.
but I wasn't even pushing. She went harder than what I was trying to lay out for her. But like you're saying, she was home while she was going to college. She was a commuter. But yeah, I hope that I was able to encourage her and give her the plan and the support and be there for her the way I tell people. I try to, like those all the little old sayings, like treat people like you want to be treated and stuff
Right.
like that. I definitely live my life that way when it comes to certain things. Um, but am I
You're doing
all
good.
are we
No,
all
you
over the
good.
place with the conversation,
No,
guys? I
you're
I
doing
hope
good. You're
that this
doing good.
is
You're doing
I
good. You're
hope
doing
that
good.
all right. So for those of you just getting here or weren't here at the top of the show or haven't really absorbed the name of the show, we're talking about things that we wish were taught in school, life lessons, life skills, different things that we need to know, but where do you get it from? Because there's no high school class that tells you about investing
Mhm.
and just all of these different things, managing debt, making a budget, having a good money mindset. So those are the topics that Robert and I are chatting about tonight. And thanks for tuning in. So, what's up, Robert? What do you want to go on to now?
Yeah,
Anything?
the basics of
The
investing. You gonna do that?
basics of investing? Okay. So we've already touched on that 401k. Yes,
Mhm.
take advantage of that. Um, and for me, for many, many years, until maybe 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, that's all I did. But I've been an investor since, for me, day one when I was a teenager because of my 401k. But until a few years ago, I was not investing on my own. I was not going in there and picking my ETF, my blue chip stocks. I wasn't exploring how do I add some Bitcoin to my portfolio. I wasn't doing that until a few years ago. But first and foremost, and I think is a huge priority, invest into your retirement funds. And if your company does not have that in place for you, a 401k or 403b, or if they
Yourself.
don't have something, you can contact a broker like Fidelity, for example, or your broker that you choose, and create, explore, and create an IRA and fund it yourself. Work with them to make investment choices, but don't be um, don't be out here at 70 years old or whatever age you are unable to work any longer, because sometimes things happen, medical things, health issues. Sometimes you're not working until the age that you anticipate you would be retiring. Sometimes it comes about suddenly. But we don't want to get to that age and all you have is your disability or your social security. Those amounts may need to be supplemented. So I've been encouraging, this is something I say as much as I can on my channel, is look to the people around you that are your parents, your grandparents, your great uncle or whoever that are retired. Are they living the way that you would want to be when you're retired? And
That's
maybe they
facts.
can give you some information and guidance on what you need to be doing, because um uh, uh 1200 or 1600 or whatever you that's something else that you can look into is right now, what would your anticipated social security payment be? Go into the site and go and look that up for yourself and really think to yourself, could I live off of this?
And as a
Is
matter
my
of fact,
home Mhm.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, as a matter of fact, even when you said that, I was writing it down. What is your retirement age? So
Yeah,
could you work to the anticipated age? Because you know it went up. That's a good point, Lisa
yeah,
J.
yeah, yeah. And it has gone up officially. I don't know what it is. I thought it was 67, but I know that I've been reading and seeing that they're probably going to push it to 70 or 72.
Yeah, it's
Um,
gonna go up.
for you to get the max. So if right now you're getting the max at 67, they're trying to extend it. And who wants to do that? Who wants to do that? No, that's why we have to not just think, oh, I'm 20. I don't have to worry about that. I'm in my 20s. I can deal with that later. The later you wait, the harder it's going to be to compound interest is on your side. The younger you are, let the money build, contribute what you can, but get started as soon as possible. As soon as you start working, and I don't mean working full time, you could be working full part time. You're working, you have your own earned income, even if you're 16 years old. If you have your own earnings, you can have an IRA. And I know no one's 16 or even the 20 something year olds don't want to hear about when they're 70, but they need to
Yeah.
listen. They
And
need to think about the big picture.
I think because I'm gonna be honest, you know, a lot of people, if you're just tuning in, um, for me, it was more or less when I was in high school, because I went to pretty much private school most of my life. So when I was in high school, I didn't have the latest and greatest clothes because I went to a private school. So I literally had the private school colors, which was blue and white.
Mhm, mhm,
So for me, when you go to school and you have maybe 5 outfits, you're definitely going to get picked on. And you didn't have the latest and greatest shoes, you're definitely going to get picked on. So first job I got, it was, oh, I'm gonna show these people. So I literally bought the latest fashion and nobody ever picked on me again. So a lot of people want to be someone else, but they don't know what that person had to deal with in order to get to where they are. So even where you are now, you know, now, looking at my analytics, I do have 18 gap there. Most of the people are in their 20s and up. Right now, what can we do now? Um, my suggestion is do some reevaluation. We all have to reevaluate. We're talking about the Super Bowl, but there were coaches being fired. Even with the basketball, they had a trade deadline, so some teams had to reevaluate. They let some people go. They traded some people off. So it's never like we're through the season, so it's never a situation where you don't have to reevaluate yourself. It's going to be okay. If you're not doing some of these things, if some people are in the chat and you're missing the mark, we all miss the mark somewhere, but it's time to reevaluate. People ask me, why do you work so much? I work so much because I know at 67 I'm not going to be, saying welcome to blah blah blah, store, or I don't want to be in a position where I'm trying to work. And you have to look at automation. Most of those jobs that you think you'll have will be automated.
mhm.
So to try to work till 67 or 72, let's face it, I'll put a one in the chat if you think you can work to 67 doing what you're doing. I want to see all the ones. If you can work to 67 doing what you're doing, press one in the chat. I don't see any ones. So I'm sure most people don't feel that way. So why you have the overtime, do it,
Yeah,
and allocate it towards something else.
I was sharing a story once about a man, between him and his wife, their Social Security and whatever income they had coming in. He was, I think, in his 70s, and he was working just like you're saying. He was the greeter at Walmart, and that was bringing in barely enough for him to close that gap that he needed. Um, because they just couldn't make ends meet and stay in their house and just pay for, I mean, the bare necessities, just the utilities and food and whatever medical costs. So yeah.
And that's a big thing, medical. Like right now, with other things I do outside of my job, I could probably be okay. But the issue is, do I want to spend X amount of dollars on insurance per month? So that money that I would necessarily be spending, that my company provides what's called fringe benefits, and I only pay a certain amount, is literally under $200 a month, and I have great insurance.
Mhm.
But that extra amount that I would have been paying, guess what? I make sure that I reevaluate those funds. So if you're in this position where you are, you know, let's just face it, we all have grandparents. If you don't have grandparents, someone who has a grandparent, a great aunt, cousin, or someone in our family who we look at and they had the world when they were working, but then everything changed. They're trying to do this or do that like you said, like the 70-year-old trying to get to where they need to go to survive.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
you know, welcome in, Stock Explorer.
Nora. Yes. So why don't we talk a little bit about credit? Credit in general. Um, I know I got my first credit card. Um, I did 1 full year of college, and then I was going part-time for the rest of until I finished, which wasn't until I was, like, nearly 30. But I got that first credit card at a table outside of the cafeteria. I think my second and third cards might have been New York& Company, which was one of my favorite clothing stores, and Sears. Um, and yeah, those cards, I didn't have the knowledge. Back to what my family taught me, I wasn't really taught much about interest rates and how to pay down your card and how to really prioritize wants and needs and
Right.
these type of things. How did you get started with credit, and how do you evaluate use of credit now in your life?
Yeah, I'm laughing because we all can, well, most of us can think about, the table when you go to school and everyone said, "Hey, come over here. We got this offer," and they want to give you a T-shirt or a book bag or something, a hundred fifty
I
dollar
think
gift card.
I think this is illegal
Yeah,
nowadays for them to go to school
entice.
and yeah,
Exactly.
and do this to 18-year
Yeah,
old,
because we got
17,
set up.
18, 19-year-olds. I don't know the specifics on it, but I don't
Yeah.
think that
Yeah, we
they could.
got we got hey you're gonna pay us for the rest of your life. We got Greedo, they had the horse head in our bed,
Mhm,
they set us up. But for me, my grandmother taught me a lot of things. Uh and I lost her at 2018, so that's why I had a brief pause. But nonetheless, my grandmother, said, "Hey, go to this furniture store and get you some furniture." No, I don't need any furniture. Go to this furniture store and get you some furniture. I'm going to talk to this person and pay the furniture off. Don't get the highest price furniture you see. Get something that'll do. Okay, so I did that. Paid it off. Told my grandmother, "Okay, now I need you to do this. Now I need you to do that." So my grandmother enabled me to have better credit. But once again, unfortunately, because I I was under the impression of, oh, I got it now. I got the hang of this. So you get the cards in the mail. So you say, oh, I can get this. You're right with predatory lending, Perez. But you get all these cards in the mail, and you're like, oh well, oh, I'm approved for 5, 6, 8, 10. You're like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I'm gonna get all these cards, but it's a management situation at that point.
mhm, mhm.
So I was
So
taught the credit, but not the managing of it. Do you see what I'm saying?
okay, so now I know you said you have your 2 little nieces or the young people around you.
Hmm.
How what could we say? What could we talk about to for
Help
us
them.
and our family, as
Right.
well as the people listening in the chat? Like, what should we be doing? What do you think we should be doing to do better for the next generation? Like,
Well, I was
go
gonna say,
ahead.
I'm sorry. One thing I did with my nieces, when they were born, I gave them they're twin nieces. So I gave them X amount of dollars. I said, told my sister, this is for them. Go invest this in this, and this. Um, my sister kept the resources in a book. And I didn't know until they turned 3. They were at the house, and I just happened to ask a question, and she said, "Oh yeah, it's still in the book you gave me." So based on
I'm confused now. You told what did you tell your sister to put it into? A
I
529?
it
Uh,
wasn't that. It was certain
you
stocks.
see no, but
I
how okay, let's rewind. Let's rewind. If you want to invest for a child, you can do it through different ways. We're not going to get deep into that, but
Right.
you can do it into a 529 plan, and then that money will be for educational costs in the future. Or
Correct.
you can do it into a UTMA account where it's a custodial account where you can invest on behalf of a minor child, and it will be turned over to them when they become an adult.
Let me ask
So
you this
you
real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
pause. Is that minor child have to be your child?
No, that
Okay.
minor child does
See,
not have to be your
I've
child,
learned
but
something new.
you have to have you had like, this is your sister.
Right.
If you have that relationship with your
Yeah.
sister, that she will then partner with you to get in touch with Fidelity, share the Social Security card and the Social Security number and the birth certificate. You're gonna need access to
Right. Right.
actually have it in the child's name, but with that, you're also taxed at a child's rate. So it is beneficial not to just and for confusion, before I got at one point I bought $100 of a particular investment for my daughter in my own account. Now, who wants to have to think about that, oh, $100 of such and such is for my daughter? No, I've gotten all this stuff separated now. She has her own high yield savings account. She has money in a CD. She has her UTMA account. Um, I'm teaching her, it's in her name. She's going to have an understanding when she becomes an adult. She has it. So now, what is this book that your sister had going on with? What does this mean? Please explain to us, because I think you wanted her to literally create two funds in the girls' names and create an investment account for them, whether it's for
Correct.
education or other.
It was.
She was supposed to do what I just described.
I told her about the custodial account. I just didn't
Okay.
know as their uncle that I can set it up. But I said, hey, get them a custodial account. Here are the funds. I'm just going to put it to you this way. The funds that I mentioned are up right now.
Okay.
And based upon her not listening with the allocation of what I said,
Yes. Yes.
their college would have been paid for. I'm just going to leave it
Okay.
that way. That's why
How old are the girls now?
they're 3.
They're still 3. Okay.
They're
All
3.
right. Thank goodness
Yeah,
they're not
they're not that
17.
old. Yeah,
Okay.
but the money is
No,
still.
I
I said,
understand.
why
I
would you?
understand. So
I'm like,
what is the book? What is the book?
it
You
was
said it's still in.
it was a book that I gave her, and I said, hey, this is going to show you this, this, and this. Um, just do this, and certain things I don't want to say on the internet, so
Yes,
I'm
yes,
kind
yes,
of,
I
you
understand.
know,
Okay.
but
So,
I said, hey, X amount of dollars. Let's just say, hypothetical. Let's just say if I hypothetically gave them 500 apiece,
okay.
okay, or 1,000 apiece, or whatever the number was. Just know, based upon what I told her to invest in, their college would have been paid for.
Okay.
That's
So
why I'm like,
how has this been rectified? What
how
is the resolution? Where is the money now?
the money is still in the book.
What is this
Yes,
book?
yes, yeah. It's
What
just a
is
book. Let's
I
just say a
know, but
random book. Let's just say I gave you a random book. Let's just say I
okay,
gave you a random book. Let's just say, hey,
Robert,
uh,
listen. Robert,
yeah,
we have to do a part 2. We have to do a part 2. When we come back from part 2, guys, we are Robert and his sister.
oh no,
I
she's not
want
going
no,
here
no, not
tomorrow.
in no, no. You're gonna tell give it, please just have a I understand you don't like to put all your nothing personal, but please let me know. Please let us know, because I'm interested to know.
Well, no,
You're gonna connect with your sister. You're gonna find a brokerage company. You're gonna set up 2 accounts for both twin girls, and you're gonna fund the accounts and get the investments invested.
can
That's
I?
the story I want to hear. Please, next
I'm gonna
time.
be honest with you, Lisa J. There's a lot of things that I could do, but unfortunately, certain things you just have to let people learn from themselves because they don't listen. So no shade, but you know,
She,
no, just
I'm okay. Well, listen. When
yeah.
we
That's an
finish this
offline.
live,
We'll have an
yeah,
offline
when we
conversation
finish
about
this
it.
live,
We'll have an offline
I
conversation.
might have to ask if I can, if I can
And
meet this, because
yeah,
listen.
offline
Okay,
conversation.
okay. Let's move
Offline.
on. Let's move on. But I would love, behind the scenes. However, I want to update on the twins, because listen,
Yeah, I love my
Listen,
nieces. I love my
I
nieces.
I
I love them.
I know you do. I
Man,
know you do. We got it. Come on now. But
boy.
Robert, I know you can only do so much,
Yeah,
but
I mean, and that's
fingers crossed that we can do something for these little girls because they deserve the head start that I was describing at the top of this show
right.
that I want for us. And guys, if you're just coming in or you don't know what this conversation is about, it's about things that you did not learn in school that we want to talk about, that we want to do for each other if we still don't know, even if you're an adult. There's lots of things that you don't know.
That's true.
As well as let's do it for our kids, our grandkids, niece, nephew, whatever, whoever the young people are in your life. But I just
Yeah, I know it's I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
with
You
this
know,
book, I'm
I'm
like, what do
peeling
you mean
I'm
a book?
peeling I'm
I'm
peeling the
still like
potato back of my life,
it
y'all.
didn't
And to
it
be
didn't
honest,
even the
certain
money
things,
didn't even go to the Bank of America or Chase. It's in a
no.
book.
I'm like literally like let's just say a random book. Let's just say it's a random book. Here you
Um,
go.
okay.
This is it's really two books because it was one for one child, one for the other child. Here you go. Hey,
Okay.
this is what's in this book.
Okay.
You need to do this. It's written down step by step what to do.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Hey,
right. So for before we move on from this topic, okay. So I have probably shared this before. I have a UTMA. I have a video on it. I have a
oh yeah.
UTMA. I have a UTMA account for my daughter. I do 80% ETF or index fund or that type of thing, 80%, and I do 20% blue chip stocks. And with that, her investments are growing. She's getting dividends. She has money in a CD, that's earning money still. Her high yield savings account still doing well. The interest rates have not gone down since I created her account.
I
But
would say, and I'm sorry, I would say most of the stuff that I did, 60% was more high risk, 40% was not high risk. But based on the high risk, yeah, at three, at one or being born
yes,
into
they had
three, they
time.
have
They had
they have
time.
time to
And
matriculate.
they also
So
have the guidance of someone that is
yeah,
interested and has knowledge. So,
right. So
yeah.
it's like, okay,
All right,
now what
but
I suggest,
we're not gonna talk about your
yeah,
sister,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah,
hope
yeah,
sister opens
yeah.
her eyes and knows that, she has you and she has tell her she has me too, okay?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Um,
I said, what about a hard head? But we're gonna leave that alone. It's
okay.
offline. We'll talk about it. We'll talk
All
about it.
right, all right, all right. Oh, but this you were just throwing me off with this
I
the
know, and
book,
probably
the
everybody
book.
in the channel is like, say what? Like, say what? Yeah, y'all.
Okay.
Y'all peeling back the onion a little bit.
Okay. 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 All right. All right. So I've touched on it a little bit. We talked about credit, getting into credit,
hmm
drowning in credit and the interest rates. Guys, if you are struggling or if you have credit card debt, that is something in my opinion, and the way I encourage people is to get rid of the debt before you really focus on investing because you may have investments that quickly are giving you a higher return. When I say higher, more than 10%, more than 20%, but right now the average interest rate on a variable rate credit card is higher than that. It's 25, 30%. So if you have credit card debt, I know it's painful to look at those numbers, but you need to, in my opinion, and the way I encourage people is you need to take all of the debt, list it out with the balances and the interest rates, and really get your head around it and how you can go about getting out of debt before you can focus on investing because I, I don't think it makes any sense to be battling the interests when you really couldn't reap the benefits truly from your investing when you're dealing with the debt. So, have you ever been in that place, Robert, where you had to clear up any high interest debt or do any transfers to get a 0% to try to get a handle on things?
I would, my personal opinion, there's a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. If you haven't read it, look at the book, read it. It's a pretty good read. But um, no, I'm not getting any money off that book, but it's a good read. But personally, yeah, I literally, it's like I dug my own hole and then threw myself in it. But you know, for me, you should put a higher percentage towards getting off that debt, but you still have to see something, at least see that I'm investing something in a light. So let's just say if you had X amount of dollars, maybe 20% you still want to invest, in my opinion, off that,
Mhm.
because at least you're still in the market or still investing, and you still see,
Yeah. No.
okay, if I put 80% towards this debt for my budget and 20%, ooh, now imagine if I got this one thing paid off. Imagine
Mhm.
how that would look. Because at least you can see it. You can actually see the return. But like you said, yeah, you got mafia rates of 20, 30, 40%. I mean, they have some high high risk credit cards, but
Mhm, mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
you should try to, like for me, um, it's more or less, if you don't have a job where you can work overtime, you need to do something, a business, make a book, a course, do something that can help you create more revenue or income, income generated skill. If you are a seamstress, if you sew, hey Tamika Davis, if you sew, if something that you do that you're able to do, and put that towards where you are trying to dig your hole. But a lot of times, a lot of people are so trapped in their budget. You see what I'm saying? The car, the house, the if they got kids, the kids, or lights and
Mhm.
food is a whole nother situation now for people.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're in a position where you can work over, my suggestion is, I kind of follow somewhat of the Dave Ramsey approach. Get yourself together, make sure you push yourself, you know, work a little bit more, but have a plan while you're doing it. Don't just work more to buy some more shoes or the next game or the next latest and greatest. Oh, I want the iPhone 28. Don't do that.
Yeah. So as far as the 401k, I would always contribute to that at a minimum. Um, but especially like we were talking about earlier to get your company match. But yeah, really prioritize getting rid of the credit card debt. I never had a student loan, so I'm not that familiar personally on um but it just seems like that's just terrible. It seems like 20-25 years down the road, people still have significant amounts to deal with. But
Yeah, I've seen well, certain things I can't discuss, but I would say um a lot of people defer their student loans and defer and defer and defer, but deferment still means you have interest added on to that.
adding, okay.
So you keep popping it down the road until they say, hey, but we're going to need at least a payment. So if you're in a situation where you got a lot of student loans, at least try to pay something.
Mm.
Because if you get to a position where you want to, it depends on where you are in life. If you don't, certain things I just can't talk about, but if you want to move from your current location and you want to get to a different place, certain things are going to stop you because of your debt to income ratio. So keep that in mind as well.
Okay. Okay. Um, all right. So what are you checking out over there? Anything else you wanted to cover in our talk?
Yeah, I was looking at the notes. That's why I kept looking down. Uh, that's why I was looking down.
So, yeah, I think compound interest, I had emergency funds, I think that kind of fits well. The high yield savings account. Let me get your opinion on that. So, I've been using Discover. I keep my money there. I have a money market account, high yield savings account, have a CD, and then some of the investment platforms that I use, like Webull
Yeah.
and Moomoo. The interest rate on my uninvested cash there is 5%,
Oh yeah.
5.1%. My regular savings accounts at Discover are 4.3%, 4.35%, I believe. And some of the other things, money market account, they're slightly, the CD slightly higher. But with that, I think that's something else that I like to highlight, because if you're using Bank of America, Chase, or Wells Fargo, even whatever your local bank or credit union is, I'm sure it's significantly less than the numbers that I just shared.
That's what I was about to say.
0.01, 0.15 to 0.01,
0.25.
0.02,
Exactly.
very low amounts
0.03.
like that. So basically, you might be making 2 cents a month. Whereas, you might be saying, "Well, Lisa, you only make 12 cents a day," but that's a big difference. And the point of what I'm saying here is, I want my money to work for me. There's just like Robert was talking about, the money's in the envelope or a notebook or wherever. No, I can't have my money has to be in the bank. If it's not in the bank or on my investment platform or somewhere that it's gaining interest, yeah, I'm not feeling that. So what is it? Okay. So I said all of that. That's my spiel. My other spiel is have an emergency fund.
Yeah.
That's my next step that I encourage. After getting rid of the debt, you have to have money on hand, just waiting, just in case, because we can't keep running ourselves into debt every time. I need tires, I need this, something happened, whatever. We have to have money on hand, and then we have to replenish back the emergency fund. But my emergency fund, it's there, it's waiting. I have to keep money on hand, but it is in a place where it's working for me. I would say last year, between personal and business, I gained over $2,000 in interest. Um, which I know I have to pay taxes on that, but we have to pay taxes on everything. So I'm going to keep my money working for me. So what can you share on emergency funds, high yield savings accounts, using CDs to gain, to these different ways of having your money grow?
Growing up, my grandmother had savings bonds.
Mhm.
And at that point, that was the thing that was the most common sense for your money.
Yes.
Then we went to money market funds, through, the company we sold insurance from. I can talk about this. We were able to get stock from a certain particular company, which I will not mention right now, but we got stock at a discounted rate. However, based on that rate, money market, high yield savings accounts, those are smart things to do. Um, but I think, you know, if you got, let's just say, X amount of dollars in debt, you have to kind of figure out, okay, like you said, your savings account. Most people don't even get point. It'll take you 100 years to get a dollar, on most people's savings accounts.
Mhm.
But when it comes to you saving money, you have to ask yourself this question. Okay. Um, as quick as you can get to saving $1,000 is probably, when it comes to Dave Ramsey, he's been spot on. Some people may not agree with his philosophy, but the quickest you can get to saving $1,000, try to save 100 first and then save 110 times. That's $1,000. So now that you got $1,000, okay, try to save up at least 1 month of emergencies. Make that a goal. because you don't know what could happen. You can get laid off at your job. They may cut your hours, God forbid. There may be something happen. There may be another situation happen where it's a lock in and people can't go anywhere. That's a whole nother subject that we're not going to discuss. But figure out what your plan is. Take a piece of paper. Like if you see me looking down, I'm either looking at the notes Lisa and Jay and I talked about, or I'm taking notes. Literally, I'm not just playing. I'm taking notes because I didn't know that I could get something done for my nieces. That's why I gave my sister the money. So we're all
No,
learning.
but like
We're
I
all
said,
learning.
there would
Yeah, we're
have
all
you would
learning.
have to partner with her for her to
Exactly. Oh yeah, yeah,
share
yeah.
that.
And I
And
understand.
I know you can't do that with everyone, even if it is immediate family,
Right, right.
but, you know,
Oh
if it's
yeah.
someone that you trust to partner with you, that you wouldn't mind knowing the information. If not, she can set it up and then just have your guidance. That's all she really needs.
And that was the point. I was
And if
like,
even
hey,
if he sets it up and gives you the username and password, you're the uncle. I don't know your relationship with your sister, but come on now, we could do it. They're 3 years old. I want to see it. I want to see it for them.
facts. So, as it relates to high yield, those are smart moves, what Lisa J is saying. Um, you know, we talked about food prices and inflation prices. Let's face it, things are not going to go down. Let's face it. Let's just come to the realization that things are not going to go down. Life is going to cost more. When I was driving, some people remember 99-cent gas. I remember a dollar and some change. Okay. Some people remember 50-cent gas. I don't remember that. I remember a dollar and some change. I remember I can go on a date, put $10 in my car, it'll be half full, at least have another $10 to, $5 movie, that's $20. Okay, you want to go out to eat? Okay, let's go to the dollar menu or whatever. But at least, okay, we can go 2 for 20, whatever, or 2 for 10 or whatever. $40, I would be okay. Now, $40 you can't put on your tank. It depends on what you drive, but stuff I drive takes premium. You you can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So you have to ask yourself, because a lot of things that we're talking about, because I've been there. I literally remember riding the bus and getting up and then getting the car and then couldn't afford the gas to put in the car. I done been in a lot of situations, and I'm sure Lisa J can contest to some of the situations she's been in as well. But the only difference, the only way you get out of these situations is you have to do something different. And the whole point is, if you have kids, if you have grandkids, if you have nieces and nephews, as the uncle, this is what I vow to do, as the uncle. This is what I'm supposed to do. However, the parent, this is your job as the parent. As it relates to you, as if you have grandkids, oh, well, I had to learn. No, the whole point is we're trying to get to a place, Lisa J and I, from what I'm seeing, where
Robert, just Lisa, please. Just Lisa.
okay, Lisa, I'm sorry. Lisa, sorry. Lisa, I was saying, okay, my bad. Lisa and I are getting to the place. Lisa and I are getting to the place where we want people to get to the next level where they are. So that's why we share things. That's why we share certain things because, you know, at the end of the day, we can talk about the high yield savings. We can talk about what we put our money in. But if you're in a place where you can't see the end of the week, let alone the end of the day, oh, I can't even see the next day because I'm so strapped for cash, then we have to come up with another plan and a mindset. And that other plan is, what can we do? Like I said earlier, we have to at least get another job. If you don't want to do that, try to work over at your job. If you don't want to do that, try to have an income producing activity, whether it be a book, a course, a mini series, watching kids, something that you can do to say this money is going to go towards this. Because what we don't want to happen is us to wake up and be 70 years old and say, oh, now I can do it. And it's too late, right, Lisa? It's too late.
Yeah. Yeah. it's gonna be too late because I don't know what type of job I'm gonna get hired for or be capable of doing when I'm 75 years old. So yeah, I gotta keep on track now while I still have a little health and strength to do it.
Right.
But yeah, this is Robert. I've been enjoying and I'm still enjoying our discussion today. Um Oh, what do you think that turns well, I've given this encouragement about the high yield savings account.
Mhm.
Do you mind sharing? Do you personally use that for in your own life?
Yeah, I
You do.
love high yield savings account. That's a smart thing.
Why do you think that some people that I've tried to give the encouragement to have a minimum amount I have an account at Bank of America. Um, but I don't keep much there. I keep the minimum there. Make sure that my money is in the other places that I shared. Working harder
You wanna
for me.
working.
Yes,
Exactly.
but I my checking account, my bills get paid from my local bank, my physical local bank that I can get to. And if anything happens, I have enough credit card, you know, space that I would probably whether I had to or not, I'm probably going to address my issue with my credit card. If I needed to, then request my money from Discover, pay my credit card bill. That might take 2 days or whatever. No problem for me, the way I have my life structured. What do you think it is that turns certain people off to having a high yield savings account? Are they scared? Do they think it's not insured? Is it too much of a hassle? Do they not believe it? Like, because I feel like it's an obstacle for some.
I'm glad I kept this in here. This is a quarter. I have money in my wallet, but nonetheless, I can physically touch this as soon as I want to, right? What turns people off is
No brick
what
and
a-
mortar.
right. I
Mhm.
physically can't touch it. What happens if this? What happens if that? What happens if this? Hey, Miss Destiny Forever. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Nice to see you. But yeah, I physically can't go to the bank, type in a number, and touch it as soon as I want to. And that's what turns people off
Mhm.
because and listen, I'm peeling the onion back, okay? The reason why I'm peeling the onion back is so everyone can understand that we're learning as well. There are things that we don't know. Listen, my sister values the money in the book more than the money in the market. You see what I'm saying? Because I physically can get that money and go to that book to get the money. They got two books. I can physically touch that money, but I can only see those numbers on a screen. That's why people don't do it.
Okay. So just to share, if anyone listening, if what Robert just described is part of your obstacle, I do with my money market account, I do have a physical card that I could go to a ATM machine and get funds. So it's just a matter of exploring these and knowing what features you want and need, but it's another place that you're leaving money on the table. So,
Yeah.
mm, mm.
Yeah, I know. It's deep. It's deep. I know. I'm feeling where you feel it. I
Yeah,
am.
I just yeah.
And
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to share that next weekend I hope to be going live again.
Perfect.
Um, and that talk is gonna just be focused on beginner investing because I want to support my subscribers, this community, wherever they are. So if that's something that you want to hear more about, please check back for that next weekend. Um, but there's so many different things here. And I also if you understand everything that Robert and I have been talking about, please, if there's young people in your life, this is what we want to share is that make sure that they know too. And I know young people don't want to often listen to us old fogies. Um, but we have knowledge to share. We have information, just like I recently did a video about if you get a tax return, you can use that money in a better way than you ever did before, with some encouragement, with some just opening your eyes to doing something different. And that's what I want to and see, what want people to see in their life, that it doesn't have to be what it is currently. It can improve. So, but
And by the way, if you are not subscribed, if you're on my channel right now and you have not subscribed to Lisa J, hey, go over to her channel, subscribe, and watch some videos. She has some excellent value, y'all. Uh, Lisa has some excellent value. And I pause because I'm so used to saying Lisa J. So Lisa has some excellent value. Seriously, she's been dropping videos. She's been doing well. I mean, she's a wealth of knowledge. Some things I just don't talk about because of the liability portion of it. However, when it comes down to knowledge wise, listen, I'm telling you, I know what I'm talking about. And I know if somebody does not know what they're talking about. And I'm telling you, she knows what she's talking about. I'm telling you, if you have not subscribed to her channel, you're doing yourself an injustice by not doing so.
Thank you, Robert. And Robert, I cannot believe that Robert be up here doing this 2-3 hours by himself. Thank you for letting me be a co-host on your side, co-hosting with me over on my side. Because I can't believe that you don't like going live, because you go up there and you really break it down and just share stories and are engaging and encouraging. And I'm glad that I was able to introduce you to people that maybe did not know about your channel, as well as I need the company up here, because I've said this before, guys. I'm not gonna say that I've officially gone live until the day comes that I did it by myself, and that day has not come yet. I always have wonderful co-hosts like Robert today that come up here with me when I'm scared and just can't keep it flowing by myself.
You know what, Lisa J? Lisa, and listen, y'all. I'm
Not a
saying,
problem. I'm the one who created this YouTube name.
Listen. Okay. Look, y'all. Listen. I've been calling her Lisa J. She wants to be called Lisa. Lisa. I have a date with Lisa tonight. Remember Coming to America? We had a date on YouTube. Not like that, y'all. So let's be grown here. Not like that. Anyway, but what I'm saying is Lisa does a wonderful job. You shouldn't be scared. Like, personally, I'm not introverted, but as I get older, I just find myself not wanting to be out and about. I don't know if that's you. Like, I just don't, it's different. So I feel like I'm talking to friends when I'm online. I personally don't like going live. I have to force myself to go live, but then when I do it, it's like I'm talking to friends. So just think about friends. You're doing a great job. You do that, and that's why I sit back and eased off the gas, because you're doing a good job. I mean, you're doing good. You did wonderful. What do y'all think?
You're here for me. But yeah. So with what you were saying about the bank, do you think it's the same thing with investing? Do you think that they feel like, oh, the money at the bank is fine, I don't need to put it into VOO or Apple stock or this, that, and the other, it's fine?
I can physically touch a shoe, a hat, an article of clothing, my keys to my car. I can physically touch those things, but I can't physically, intangible. I can't physically touch. Back in the days, it used to bring you a stock certificate, but I can't physically touch this. So therefore, if I can't physically touch, I can physically touch my phone. So I got the iPhone 15 and Samsung S23 and Ultra, and I can physically touch those things. So it's the dopamine that I get from physical touch of those objects.
Is there anyone in the chat that can answer that is apprehensive about investing using a high yield savings account, that could give me the answer as to what your apprehension is? Because I don't know. I want to know what it is I could share and what encouragement that I can give. But you just think that they just think it's not necessary. It's scary because they don't have a physical view of it. Yeah.
Someone said it best in a lyric. People fear what they can't understand.
Mhm, mhm.
They
Do you
fear
think
it.
people are fearful of really contributing heavily into their 401k, or
Yeah.
am I creating these things in my own head?
No, the issue is like a lot of people start jobs and they don't necessarily know the benefits. So here's the thing, people. Generally speaking, most jobs will give you something in return of you giving something up. So now you have a percentage that's called a company match. So a lot of people, you know, if you're in different situations, you don't necessarily know that because it's your first job. You just say, "Oh, I'm good." Like I said, I got my first job just to buy clothes. I didn't have to work. My parents was like, "If you want this latest shoe and the latest clothes, you better get a job." So they get a job based on that when we get our first job. Oh, I want to go. What did you do with your first job? Did you pay any bills at the house, your parents' house, on your first job?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm saying me like anybody else could answer you. Well, like I shared, I was a mom, so yeah, I had bills.
So you
I
had
mean,
bills.
I had to buy diapers and clothes. Those babies, they be growing out their clothes real quick.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I had responsibilities. So it wasn't just going to hang out and buying sneakers for myself. I had real responsibilities. But you know,
So based on those responsibilities, Lisa, the question I have for you is, um, did you invest during that time?
No, as soon as I started working full time,
Hmm.
I pretty much started investing. So I would say that
Okay.
was not long after I started working. Now I can't
Mhm.
remember back to when I was 19,
I see what you're saying.
what percentage I was contributing, but I know that I was contributing something. Maybe it was only 3% or 4%. I couldn't, I did try to look because I have some old pay stubs. I did try to look, but if it wasn't for that, I who knows? I like I said, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It
Right.
wasn't good that I was working at that age full time
Right.
and that my education was slowed down to, sometimes not even taking a class at all, a whole semester. But it was a jump start for me to be focused on investing.
Right.
And um maybe we'll do another show another day about getting into evaluating the performance of your investments if that's something that you're interested in talking about, because it now, I mean, I called up Fidelity the other day.
Hmm.
I have my 401k from my current company, and I have two IRAs there from that are funds from previous jobs that I've held. And in total of what I have there, they can figure out a score for you. And I think for my score, if I was to work until I think it was 65, I had them I said, give me my grade if I was to work till 60, give me my grade if I was to work till 65. As for all the information that I gave them, for 65, I think I was at 118%. And for to stop working at 60, I was slightly below. I don't have my notes with me, but I think the 118 is definitely correct, for 65. So that's basically saying right now I'm on track. If I was to continue working till I was 65, I would have $1.18 for what I need according to what I've reported to them when I'm in retirement. And that number is not factoring in any social security or, anything other that I'm going to have coming in.
Right.
So with figuring out that number, I don't want to work till I'm 65, but with figuring out that number, it helps me to gauge that I'm on track. And that number is just my retirement funds number. That's not taking into account other things that I have going on, like my rental properties or other income sources of income that I have. But this is something that I definitely wasn't doing even 15 years ago.
Right.
But that's something that I like sharing these type of things because I want people to know that these are things that you can do and, in my opinion, should do. Know the performance, know the fees of what's taking to manage your portfolio. And I think that definitely, if it's 1%, that's way too much. If it's 0.5%, that's way too much. Do you have any opinion on like one of my I've done a couple of videos on this FXAIX, which is the S&P 500 index fund that's available on Fidelity. The expense ratio on it is 0.015. VTI and VOO are 0.03. Now, I want people to get a handle on the fees, the expense ratios, the performance of their portfolio early, because whether we're working with our first $10,000 or $100,000 or $250,000, I want you to have the same mindset from day one, because there's no reason to lose 1% of your $10,000, never mind 1% of your $100,000. So you, Robert, you just nodding your head, please.
Hey, and you know what? It's like
Am
you
I
ever been to
explaining this in a clear way?
hey, I'm like, hey, you listen, y'all. It's kind of like when you cook something in the kitchen and then somebody else come and cook it, you like, that's what I'm talking about. You seasoning it up well. Like I'm like, yes. So yeah, you're right on with it. Is it loaded? What, pretty much the term loaded versus non-loaded, what percentage is it based on loaded funds versus non-loaded? Yeah, you have to check, count up the cost of everything. And I think that's a very wise thing. And I think, that's why a lot of people do VOO, VTI. Personally, I think I overlap with a lot of stuff because I have those funds, but then I also may invest in an Apple or something else that are in those particular funds as well, to get the dividend and things of that nature. So you do need to make sure that you look at everything, just like we were talking about earlier, as it relates to Netflix. And no shade, Netflix don't come from me. Hulu don't come from me. On all these, other apps, you have to read. Every month it seems like these apps are going up, right? So that's why.
Or they want to put you with
Right.
commercials or something
Right.
to entice you to up the
To
plan.
upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're gonna up it because you don't want to see all the stuff. You go like,
Yeah.
nah, I might as well, they're always going up, in the rate. So, you know, um, you have to look at all the expenses and go from there. And that's with everything. The whole point of this conversation tonight, people, is what we wish we learned. And I'm definitely interested for a round two. That's gonna be, whew, boy, y'all. We it's like you go on vacation and you start unpacking, but you still got clothes. Like, I can talk for 8 hours, but I know that y'all don't want to stay for 8 hours. You know, but question in the chat. Are y'all enjoying this? Press 1 in the chat if you're enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, press 2. Be honest. If you're enjoying it, press 1. Feedback is necessary. If you're enjoying this, press 1. If you're not enjoying it, press 2. If you're enjoying it, press 1. If you're not enjoying it, press 2. We need, feedback. We need feedback from the chat. Come on, y'all. Are you asleep? Are you cooking up your Super Bowl Sunday
That's
meals?
what I was gonna say. Did they need to run to the market for
Okay,
their
I
last
see one.
minute?
I see one. I just joined the live. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Welcome in. Welcome in. So yeah, I see ones. Okay, so people are enjoying it. You got people in the crowd. You got people in the background chilling. So people are enjoying this.
All right.
It's some
So Robert,
information.
you created the next show in your notes over there.
Oh yeah, I'm sitting there writing down stuff. That's why I keep looking. I'm telling y'all, this is like, hey, y'all thought Wu-Tang and all these other people had like double disc CDs. This is, I'm telling y'all. Boy.
Listen, guys, Robert and I don't, we've never really spoken before today. we've been in one meeting together, but never, but um we definitely messaged a little bit back and forth over the last few days just to see really if we have the same kind of money mindset. And I
Right,
think
right.
we do. And I really have enjoyed chatting with you. Um and I'm here, guys. I'm here for us. I started this journey a little over a year ago. Um just to share what I have going on. But I think personally, what I have realized, I just wasn't having these conversations with family or friends or anybody.
Right.
When we're out to brunch, the people I was brunching with, we weren't then talking about, how's your Tesla? What is your Disney? Do you have Disney in your portfolio? Is it looking like, these are not things that we were talking about. Now I'm pulling these conversations out of people, and I'm surprised at because I thought that everyone was doing what I was doing, but we just weren't talking about it. But I'm just like really shocked at some of the things that I found out recently, because I thought at least they were doing the same, or if anything, I thought maybe the same or better. But I've run into many times recently that they're doing below what I was doing. But
Right.
especially people that are working, I thought at least, oh, they have plenty in their 401k.
And
Um,
and believe it or not, Lisa, and I didn't mean to interrupt. Believe it or not, I it was there were 21 people who retired from where I worked
okay.
in the last month. I talked to two people and I said, "What do you wish you would have done?" Two people said, "I wish they would have started 401k." I said,
Started.
one guy was 74 years old. I said, "Huh?" So literally, so a lot of people are not doing this. Let's read the chat. A few years ago, I asked a friend why they didn't want to talk about finance with me. She said, because she doesn't have any money and she thought I had a lot. What? We work at the same place. Oh boy. When I a lot of people see me working a lot of overtime at work, and I tell them, you think I'm going out spending on cars, shoes, and clothes and crazy stuff, but that's not the case. I
Hmm.
have a plan. And when you have a plan, you stick to the plan. Working to get out of here is the plan, not
Hmm.
working to impress you when I pull up, not working to impress you when what I got on or how I smell. No, working so I won't be working to 74 years old.
Hmm.
74. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole thing. Like every time I think Chris Sain ends his video, he says everyone sees the results, but few people consider the journey, you
Right.
know? Okay, so me and you, we hypothetically saying we work together, say we earn the same amount of money, but how many kids do you have? How many kids do I have? Am I coming home to a $400,000 home or $135,000 home? What kind of car am I driving? How long have I been investing? Everyone has a different, spending habits, and it's just
Yeah.
you can't judge a book by its cover,
And that's
because
facts.
there are some people that you think that I thought had so much more. And like I had a friend mention about another friend's car payment. And I'm like, car payment? She's been having that car for like 6 or 7 years already. Like,
Ooh.
so you just don't. I have to open my mind to, different circumstances and different things. And like I said, like I'm here to share the mistakes I made, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
as far as my portfolio too, I did a couple of videos recently about Disney. My Disney stock has been looking sad for like the last year, but something I decided to dabble into, but not thinking that, yeah, I had to hold on to it for so long in order to see the results.
Well, unfortunately, with Disney, you already know why it went down. We ain't gonna talk about it, but you,
I think it's the
yeah,
same issue with
yeah,
Target and some of
right,
their,
wokeness,
free spiritedness. Yeah.
right, right. So remember, people, you may not agree. You may agree with whatever people saying, and this is not the conversation of that. But remember, everything has a consequence. Okay, so it doesn't matter what your side of the fence or what do you agree or disagree with. Everything has a consequence. You don't have to pay for something if you don't agree with something. If you agree with it, then pay for it. But as you can see, the market, yeah, I agree, Tay. The market shows that a majority of the people felt the same way. And we're not here to discuss how you feel or how you don't feel, because that's not the case of this talk. But when it comes to investing, remember, whether like right now, Lisa J did a great video about politics as it relates to, certain things. I pretty much make sure that every 4 years is a cycle. So I already know, kind of like EV stocks are down based on cycles, because one candidate is saying, I don't want EV. Another candidate is saying, we're going EV. But the candidate who's saying, we don't want EV, for the stock market, they think that candidate may have a better choice or chance. So it's a cycle. I think Disney will come back, though.
Mhm,
Personally, I think
mhm.
Disney's a great company, besides the wokeness.
Yeah.
It'll come back. It'll come back.
So I mean, I am an investor. Um, I believe that everyone should be investing, not just saving, and definitely not just saving at the local credit union or that Bank of America, Chase, or whoever your local big bank is. Um, and I hope that people here are not afraid of investing, but you can do it in the most conservative kind of a way. But whether it's election year, recession, the lockdown situation, listen, I could have made so much more if I wasn't apprehensive and scared and didn't know, will I get laid off and this, that, and the other. Man, but I even with that, I did some investing and I'm glad, but I'm never gonna slow down with it. I'm never gonna slow down with it. And I'm definitely gonna get more into this on my next live, but you don't have to have a lot of money to get started. I think that might have been one of the things that you might have shared with me.
Mhm.
Know that you can do it with a small amount of money and you don't have to jump in all at once. Like Robert was mentioning that he gave he put aside for his nieces. You don't have to invest it all in one day. You can go little by little. If you don't have it, whether you have all the money there at the time or not, the market fluctuates day by day. For index funds, is day by day. For
Mhm.
ETFs and stocks, it's second by second.
Seconds.
So you dollar cost averaging is a way that you can build your way into it and not have to choose the exact right day, the exact right minute to invest.
Right.
And I use Fidelity. I have different platforms that I invest in. I tell you, one of the smallest investments that I've made recently, $2.50 into two of my daughter's stocks in her account at Fidelity. And a while back, I was doing a live with Miss V, Make This Go Viral. And I had mentioned about investing $5, $10 are two of my daily commitments that I have. Um, and someone in the chat is like, what is $5? And I'll tell you, I proudly will invest my $5, my $2.50, my $10. And, I, it's about consistency for me. I want you that I see the big picture in that way. And these investments that I'm talking about are on top of my 401k investment. And I try to push myself there too. Like I said, I want to strive to be 15% and above there. So, if you got to start out at a lower percentage, when you get a raise, remember, you can increase. You have to keep that in mind. The paying yourself first, increasing the percentage that you're contributing to the 401k. You got to keep up with that too. So that's my feeling on it. But I think everyone should be investing,
Oh yeah.
not just saving, and
And
definitely.
I'm sorry, Christopher just said, I buy on the dips. That's facts, Christopher. Red, in my opinion, like now, let's just talk about Disney. Lisa is investing in Disney. So let's
I,
just
I'm
say,
I'm holding my position on Disney.
and that's what I'm saying.
I,
Let's just say,
I haven't been building into it.
let's say if she liked Disney, okay? Let's just say, for instance, if she wanted to buy more Disney, when it's red is the time where you evaluate. You say, okay, I got X amount of shares in Disney or Apple or Hulu or Netflix or whatever the case is, Target or whatever the case is. I have X amount of shares. It's red, meaning it's not positive. It's going down.
Mhm.
Like my EV stocks. Okay, I got a lot of stocks that are up, but some are down. Reevaluate. Okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to put more in EV? Do I believe this company will survive? Ask yourself those questions. And then,
Mhm.
you know, the $5 Lisa said that she put in, or $2 or $3 or whatever the case, $10. Guess what? That's more than what it would be at a certain. She's talking about fractional shares, small pieces, bite size, but it doesn't matter. You get more bang for your buck. Kind of like if you go to the grocery store. My dad likes not Captain Crunch, Frosted Flakes. He don't like flakes of Frosted. No shade to any other brand. If it ain't Frosted Flakes, he ain't gonna buy it. So
No generic.
no generic. So if Frosted Flakes is on sale, my dad is gonna buy 4 boxes. If
Mhm.
it ain't on sale, he might buy a box or 2. But best believe when he see them Frosted Flakes on sale, he's calling me, "Hey Robert, pick me up some Frosted Flakes, take it to the house." Dad, what? You want me to bring Frosted Flakes? So you gonna make me drive to your house, waste gas? Okay, Dad, I got you. So he's gonna make sure he get those Frosted Flakes on sale, no matter what. So,
I
like
think
Lisa
the
said,
whole well, let me rein this in.
uh-huh.
Do you guys in the chat understand what Robert is trying to say? We will take a dress on sale. We will take the sneakers on sale. We will take the Frosted Flakes on sale. But when our stock is on sale, we're like, oh, we
I
wait
don't
till
know. Oh,
we wait till we
oh,
hearing about it in the news in the good way, and then we're like, yo, I want to invest into that.
that looks
Well,
good.
yeah, yeah. But it all depends. You gotta do this in a way. You gotta do your research. I'm not telling you to, throw your money into something that's on its way out now.
Exactly. That's why I said
Um,
reevaluate it now.
Not the hype stock, as I say, the hype stocks, we're not all gonna catch GameStop or some of these things at the right place. But, I definitely especially the main core blue chip stocks that I invest into. I don't skip a day because it's down. If it's something that I'm committed to, yeah, I'm going to continue.
Facts.
And some of my blue chip stocks are my Apple and my Google. I wanted to get started with the NVIDIA at the beginning of this year, but it's really has taken off
Oh,
hard.
it shot up.
Yes.
It
I
shot up.
still have done it a few days, this year so far, but not too much. But yeah, I do. My VTI, VOO, and then I have my dividend portfolio that I'm building. I'm doing that with full shares. I don't do that in fractional because I do that over on Moomoo. They'll be having fractional, I'm sure, sometime coming soon. But yeah, I just keep it going. I just keep it going. And whether, like I was saying before, whether it's election year, whatever it is, I'm gonna keep up with my investing. And my personal investing into my taxable accounts, as I call them, these are things that I can tap into when I want, prior to these ages that we're talking about, retirement. I want that money. I'm working on building up that money for 65 plus, but I also want money accessible to me at 55, before the age of 59 and a half,
Right.
because, I may be able to get myself in the place where I can retire at that age and tap into what it is I want to have access to. Not that I'm looking forward to the day that I have to sell my Apple stock, because I do love my Apple stock. I love just looking at it.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, I am sure I'm gonna do a heat check, and I always do this every live. But I got a question. We might get in trouble for this one, but if you got Apple and you rocking with Apple, press 1 in the chat. If you got Samsung or Android, press 2 in the chat. I just want to see something, and this is what we're gonna figure out, because I want to figure this out. Because there's some people in the chat that's probably been listening to Lisa, Jay, and Lisa, listen to Lisa, and been like,
I'm a
okay, well, I don't know, I don't know if I should invest in Apple. I'm gonna help clear this up for a second. 1, if you have Apple. 2, if you have Samsung or Android. I just participate just a little bit, just a little razzle dazzle, participate. Hey, what's up, Lashes? Hello, everyone. Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of 1s. Now I have both because I do business things and I need both phones. I like the functionality, but the people who participated, I'm seeing 1. Okay, I see a 2. Hey, yeah. Okay, I got both. So, what I'm saying is, if you can look at this is a way to do research. You look at what people have. So is Apple valuable? Should I invest in Apple? Somebody in here is, okay, I see 2s. Okay, the 2s are coming in. Uh-oh. So I'm seeing a lot of 1s, but I see 2 2s. So this is the way to evaluate something. I don't like Apple. I can't stand it. Apple don't come for me. I'm just using this for an example. You may not like Apple. Once again, I have both. I have the 15, the 13, and I got 3, but and this, which is the 23. So, I personally like Samsung's technology as it relates to the video. I like the video on Samsung. I like the connectivity, however, with Apple products. Period. My laptop, my watch, my iPad, where's my laptop? Oh, it's back behind me. I'm like, oh Lord, I'm talking about my laptop, and I was like, where's my laptop? Right here. So yeah, I'm like, I got all this stuff. I like the connectivity. I like how everything flows and everything goes. Now I have multiple devices for a reason, but you're asking yourself the question: should you invest in Apple? We're not investment advisors to give you investment advice, right? But if you can't stand Apple, but you're looking at the chat, I'm wonderful, Miss Destiny, Dr. Destiny. Look at the chat. Go, if you have kids or grandkids, or if you go to the mall and do the power walking, sit down and just watch and see what people are on the phone and see. Look at their phone and see what do they have. And that shows you, that's market research. Should I invest in this? Well, if a lot of people have something, I don't know about you, Lisa, but I like Apple products. I don't think
I
I'm
do
going to give it
too.
up.
And, but there are definitely other blue chip stocks that are, coming for Apple, coming for that number 1 spot. But yeah, I have no problem holding the shares that I have in my portfolio. They have yet to disappoint. Google, Apple, Amazon, these things are top in my growth portfolio, and they have not. They have not
And speaking
disappointed.
of that, if you have an Amazon package, or if you have had an Amazon package delivered to your house in the last week, press 1 in the chat. I can probably press 1 100 times. If you had an Amazon package delivered to your house in the last week, press 1 in the chat. I'm trying to see something. I'm just trying to see something.
And guys, like I was sharing about investing $5, $10. You don't, this is, I hope you guys are understanding. I hope everyone here that is interested, if you don't understand, that's that enables you to buy just a bit, just a slice, just build your way, buying, less than a quarter, a small fraction until you build your way up to a share. And that's something that I had to open up my mind to,
Mhm.
because in the beginning of my personal investing, I was buying full shares, but that also was limiting me as to what I could invest into. I surely couldn't invest into Bitcoin. I couldn't invest into Tesla. I couldn't invest into Amazon because I could not afford a full share. But I said, okay, Lisa, now you got to get an understanding of this and you have to become more flexible because you want certain things. You want to have exposure to these things. So was there any particular stock that you can remember, Robert, that you was your first fractional that you opened up yourself and said, okay, I have to get into this and now I have to do fractional shares? Or were you always like that from your beginning of investing in this way, since it was available to us, like at our fingertips
Right.
24/7? Yes.
You know, the one company that I always wanted to invest in, but at that time I didn't have the money for a full share, was Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett. If you don't know anything about Warren Buffett, Google him. I said Berkshire Hathaway and the things that he's doing, even though it doesn't have a dividend, I wanted to have at least one full share of Berkshire Hathaway. Now, I'm not telling y'all I have one share of Berkshire Hathaway at this point, so don't be looking up Berkshire Hathaway saying, well, you got one share of that. Don't be coming for me, y'all. So, what I'm saying is, I like Berkshire Hathaway. I like the fact that they have a Class A and a Class B. I like the Class B as well. But because they own so many things, I wanted to be able to, that was a goal, get at least one share of Berkshire Hathaway in my portfolio. Now somebody might look that company up and say, oh, ain't no way I'm doing this. A fractional share means you can buy a piece of that company. Okay, so just based off what me and Lisa was talking about, let me pull up something. Let me see if it'll let me. I wanted to be sure that I can do that because it was important to me. Because I'm like, if the big boys are doing it and the big girls are doing it, I want to be able to do it. So that was a goal. I wanted to put it in my face to see it. So that was one of my goals. What about you, Lisa?
I'm sorry, Robert. I didn't hear really understand what you were saying. What
Oh
was
yeah,
one of
yeah.
your goals to do what?
To invest and get a one share. You're talking about fractional
Oh,
shares.
one share. Yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely. But,
I have both.
a couple of the things that I mentioned, like
Mhm.
the Tesla and the Amazon, it was after that I started investing into them that they split. So then it made it more accessible, but I didn't wait until it split until I started investing, you know?
Exactly. Exactly.
I said I made up my mind about certain investments. There was, listen, with Tesla, it's 32,000, it's 60,000, it's, that one is to the extreme. Um as far as being able to get to a full share. But yeah, it has been a journey, but consistency has allowed me to get to 50 shares of Apple and, 16 shares of this, 18 or 20 shares of something else. But the point I'm just trying to share here is, $20, $10, $5, do it month after month after month. Just like with our working out or whatever you need to change in your life, consistency. If you do what you have to do day after day, month after month, you will see results. Hopefully you will see the results that you are looking for. And as far as my investing, I definitely have seen the results that I was looking for. And I really I've been able to consistently just be focused on being an investor. And I think all year the only thing that I've cut completely out of my portfolio was my JetBlue. I'm not out here
Mm.
constantly selling my stocks. I'm not here being a trader. That's
Mhm.
something we didn't. Well, this was about things that you didn't learn. I don't know that I didn't like literally have this on our list of topics, but
That's fine.
being a trader and being an investor are two different things.
Truth.
And when people's vision of what it is, they might think, they I think they some people have it, kind of twisted in their they don't have a perspective on it of what the difference is. And they think that there's a lot of risk and it's a lot of, uh, you need to understand certain things in a way that you don't.
Hmm.
And,
And you're
it's not hard. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be, um, overwhelming. And it doesn't have to have a lot of risk. That's why I definitely, especially for beginners, I'm gonna try to get really I was gonna go live again tomorrow, but I decided with Super Bowl and other things, and just to give myself more time to get prepared because I really wanna get in depth with,
right.
beginner investing and really show, investments and step by step how to get into it because people think that you're gonna have to, you're gonna run into all this taxes and this and whatever is scaring them and whatever movie they saw or whatever. I don't know what people have in their mind, but I don't want it to be overwhelming or scary or any of that. But I want everyone to be a part of it and know that it is a way to build wealth, an important way that should hopefully you guys can be open to. I'm not a crazy person. I'm not a scammer. I am truly showing you that this is a way to build wealth, and just I want this for all of us. So
And that's facts. And someone asked real quick. I'm just so they said Berkshire Hathaway Class A and B. I did both. Let me say this: I'm not telling you to go out and invest in Berkshire Hathaway A or B. My personal return in Berkshire Hathaway Class A was over 40%. My Class B is over 10%. I wanted. I liked Warren Buffett, so I believed that Warren Buffett was going to make money. That's why I personally did that. No, if you look up Berkshire Hathaway Class A, it is over $500,000, almost 600,000. No, I did not buy a full share because we're talking about fractional shares earlier. So I just want to make mention. So I don't want anybody, come knocking on my door saying, "Oh, you got a share of Berkshire? Let's talk." That wasn't the case. Okay, so I just wanted to clear that up, clear the air. Fractional shares means a portion, a small amount, $10, $5, depending on the investment platform. What was your goal? You have to have a goal, put it forth in front of you. And even if I don't ever get a share of Berkshire Hathaway, I still wanted to have something in my portfolio that actually mimic the Class A shares. So Lisa J talked about a lot of stocks, and we talked about a lot of things. I think, Lisa, I think we should do a part two. What do you think?
it sounds good to me. I know we've been going for 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, And I wanna thank everyone. Everyone is still not here, I'm sure, but I wanna thank everyone that has checked in over this time, and I appreciate you. I hope you've been taking notes. So yeah, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. I think I did. Uh, you let me know what you want me to contribute to the next show or if you're gonna prep it and just let me know what I need to get, my in my mind and get prepared to talk to you about, and I will be there. So,
Perfect. So,
yes.
uh, once again, everyone, thank you so much for coming. We've been at the 2 hour mark. I know we appreciate each and every person who's come in the live and who's liked it and shared it and subscribed to Lisa and if you decided to subscribe to me, whatever the case is, the whole point that we wanted to make sure is that we continue to help people, and that's why I wanted to do a live with Lisa because she continues to help people. I like her style as it relates to what she's doing and the platform. But everyone, thank you so much for coming. In closing, I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time out. And that's all I have to say. We'll talk about everything else offline, Lisa, if it's all right with you.
Sounds good. And guys, listen, if you have any questions or comments, just put them in the regular chat also, and we will follow up. And hopefully, you will be seeing us again soon. All right. Good night. And everybody have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Be safe. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.